The final speaker will be Cary Godsal of Peterhouse. He is the union's debating officer designate. Cary?
Look, I want to be straight with you when I start up speaking, because here's the thing. I started prepping for this motion last night because I couldn't find anyone else to do this debate. So, the fact is this union is clearly too irrelevant to get anyone else better than me. So, I'm afraid you're all going to listen to me for the next 6 to 8 minutes. Apologies. Cool. A few things. I think firstly, just to get off the bat, I think what's really important here is to not dismiss competitive debating. I'm a competitive debater. I love competitive debating. This is not competitive debating. Competitive debating is all the good things about this, which is not very many, but none of the bad things, i.e. none of the self-aggrandizing, none of the self-promotion, none of the backstabbing, none of the hypocrites, none of the awful incompetence. So, what is this? No. One, it's within a minute, you should know the rules, and two, I choose. So firstly, let's look at the motion. Let's look at what we actually have to debate tonight. This House believes there's still a point in the Cambridge Union. Now, I think there are 3 possible reasons why we could debate this motion. I think the first thing is that by debating this motion, we don't even know whether this thing has any relevance at all. So the fact that we're debating this motion indicates that there's probably a large scenario in which this union has no importance whatsoever. I think the second reason why we could be debating this motion, as Gabriel pointed out to me over dinner, was that we are so insecure about what we spend our lives doing that we need to reaffirm it to ourselves on a Thursday night before everyone else. That is to say, that all us hacks who spend our careers, or our degrees rather, in this building, need you to vote for us to give us that self-confidence that we're actually not wasting our lives. So I guess for those lot, actually please do vote for the ayes, because otherwise, they've wasted their last 3 years. But I think the last thing is, look, this motion is a self-congratulatory circle jerk. It exists of previous presidents, current presidents, and probably some other people floating around who probably want to be presidents, wanting to show each other how important their time here has been, and how important the motions they are. But here's the thing. Let's be really real here. The live stream is probably watched by, I don't know, Patrick will be able to tell me, I think it's roughly, 100 people, 200, like max, okay? We've got, 60 people in this union, maybe a bit more. Look, turnout has been on the decline over the last 10 years. We've had less POIs being asked, we've had less floor speeches. Probably the quality of debate has also been going down, given that, I'm here. Look, I really hate to break it to you, Gabriel. We don't shape national conversation. We are of no relevance ever. And the days in which we were able to shape, national conversations, the days in which the newspapers would come up to report on what we talked about are simply gone. We are just some anachronistic, elitist fad that has no importance to anyone ever. What do we do? Because we don't really do very much. But let's look at what do we do. So I used to think, right, back before I came to Cambridge, that actually the union was a really fantastic institution. And the reason was this. I thought what would happen is you got all of the sycophants and the sociopaths and the careerists, and you put them all into one building, right? And you made them kind of fight amongst themselves. And that way, they could never harm anyone else, right? Because, this way, Gabriel spends his time in the union, not in Trinity. And that is a benefit to the people of Trinity. But now having been to the union, I'm afraid I'm really wrong. So I would like to apologize for all the things I've said in the past. Because here's the thing, the union is actually really bad, because it takes the union hacks, who would otherwise be normalized and socialized into being kind of normal people, and it puts them into environment with everyone else, and they're instead kind of congratulated and promoted on these really terrible negative traits, right? On their ability to have good chat but no competence, on their ability to be sycophantic, on their ability to backstab. They're promoted on that basis, and then they leave this union with the title of President of the Union, with these accolades, with these CV points, and they can now tell themselves that these awful traits mean they're actually really great organizers, really great administrators. I hate to break it to you, we're probably not. We're all broadly very incompetent.
Point of information.
No, sorry. Look, I don't really care. I don't really care enough. So, like, I'm sorry. Look, if I were to care, that would to imply that the union had some relevance. So obviously, I can't care because otherwise I would not, be no. But there's not talk about the elections, right? I think the election system in the union is really bad. Because what you have is this constant election cycle, 8 weeks, in which you're supposed to run your term as Speaker's officer, run your term as Executive officer, before then embarking on a race to President's officer, I suppose. I think the problem with this is you're unable to really affect any long-term change. You're unable to do anything more than the entropy dealing with the daily shit that happens, and because you're so focused on winning your next election. And I think the people in this union are so concerned with winning elections, probably 2 years in the future, some of them, rather than actually doing their job right now. I think that's probably quite a harmful trait to teach people that is a good thing to do. So I think on that basis, it's really bad. Lastly, before I kind of finish off, and you can all kind of be finished with me, which I'm sure you're all glad to have me gone. I am as well. The last thing to note is this place is horrendously anachronistic. I mean, has anyone looked at the website recently? Like, the website is a disgrace. The AV equipment, like, I love you, Patrick. I love you, Stephen, but yeah. And this pretends that we exist in a time of the 20th century with the white tie and the black tie, and this pretends that we exist in a mini House of Commons, that we can change national conversation, that we can change national debate, is sadly very outdated. I think also that the free dinners of alcohol for committee members is probably also quite bad as well. But anyway, look, this union is irrelevant. It has no ability to do anything. Its only ability is to keep people like me engaged in the union and stop me doing my degree, which I probably ought to do. And the only reason why I'm here is because I'm really hoping to get a really good profile picture at some point with the black tie. So if I haven't gotten that, I'll be quite disappointed, I have to say. I'll be really disappointed. Look, how long do I have? Oh yeah, come on. 3 efforts.
Surely, even if you're here just to get the profile picture, and even if this turns out to be an extremely glorified photography agency, that is some kind of point.
Sure. Insofar as a dustbin has a point to put trash in it, the union has a point to put all the trash of the university into it. Apart from Alicia is fantastic. But yes, broadly, this union is irrelevant. It has no impact on national policy. Our continued belief that it does is simply a throwback to us wanting to feel that we were actually popular and cool when we were teenagers, which, let's be real, that we probably weren't, right? Like, we're here. And that's all the previous presidents who come back here, they probably do so because they want to remember the time when they felt relevant, when they were in control, when they were in command of this institution. And I guess it serves some kind of purpose in that regard. I have no idea why the rest of you came. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cary, for that speech. Unfortunately, like all masturbation, this debate must come to an end. And so at the union, we vote with our feet. So if you'd like to vote aye in favor of these guys, go to the right. If you'd like to go with those guys, go to the left. And if you're not really decided, go through the middle. Thank you.